I see a lot of patients coming in these days because of weight issues. In fact, I think the most recent figures is that over 2/3 of the North American population are going to be overweight. So I get a lot of questions about a lot of products. My job is to look at these products, make sure that not only are they safe for my patients to take, but they make some scientific sense. Number one, it is an excellent source of calcium, and in particular, dairy calcium. Why dairy calcium? Because again, if you go to the literature and you look at the studies done on dairy calcium, there's very clearly evidence that dairy calcium, the most absorbable kind of calcium, will have an impact on a person's weight. Number two, there's an extremely high quality protein in there. Proteins, for obvious reasons, are very important to our nutrition, but in addition, these proteins have a very high biological value. What does that mean? There's all the essential amino acids that you need in there and many non-essential ones as well. This is very satisfying to the body and in itself will decrease someone's appetite. There's a probiotic. In other words, it stabilizes the good gut in your flora and tries to get rid of the bad bacteria, therefore balancing your system. PNT 200 is a result of the scientific question, what is it in a warm glass of milk that makes your kid sleepy, drowsy, and more calm? Scientists have looked at this, they've looked at amino acids called tryptophan, but finally a group of scientists in France discovered a small protein, what we call a decapeptide. And this decapeptide that shows up in natural milk, in milk that is undenatured, binds to the same parts of the brain that drugs like Valium do. These are what we call GABA receptors, except these are things that show up naturally in our foods. By binding to these GABA receptors, we're able to see the effect of calming, of wanting to sleep more, of reduced stress. Now, reduced stress, the links of stress and obesity are very, very strong. When we're stressed, we release a hormone that I'm sure many of you have heard of before called cortisol. And if we have an excess of stress, we have an excess of cortisol, and cortisol signals your body to lay down fat, particularly in places where you don't want it. By cutting down on a person's stress level using the PNT 200, you can cut down on these peaks of cortisol production and thereby in itself lose weight. Another component of the system is something we call thermal action. Thermal action is not going to be for everybody, but it is for the person that's very, very serious about losing weight. Thermal action has got 3 components in it. One of them is a type of chromium. Chromium is important in insulin metabolism, in sugar metabolism, and there are numerous studies that you can go and look up on the internet and get more information about this. Another component is something called guarana. Guarana, it comes from a natural plant and it has a stimulatory effect on the body whereby it raises your basal metabolism and works as what we call a thermogenic. It raises heat, and by raising heat you end up burning fat. The last component is something called green tea. Although it also has a thermogenic component, it is also loaded with antioxidants and has many other health benefits. So when you look at all the components together, it's not just a single-pronged approach against weight loss. We're addressing it from many different angles.